dance your problem them away. I know you've been waiting long, but your breakthrough is today. Forget about every negative thing. Get up and dance into your blessing. It might look confusing, but it's Caribbean.
Greetings, everyone, in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon, and it's a pleasure to be with you. We are going to be right back. We give you a chance to invite your friends, tag someone, invite your tanty, your nenen, invite whoever you want to invite. Just tell them, Youths with a Difference, we are on at this time. And guess what? We are on to make a difference. So we're going to be right back. We're going to leave you with a few ads.
Caribbean Christian, Caribbean Christian, and dancing in my blood, boy. Don't hold me, let me dance. Don't hold me, let me dance, oh yeah. Let me dance to Jesus. Young and old, come along, everyone can do it. No worry about nothing, it ain't got no weight limit, cause this party is heavenly. Dance till the problem gone away. It's a new kind of dancing, can lead you to your healing. So get up and dance your problem them away. I know you've been waiting long, but your breakthrough is today. Forget about every negative thing. Get up and dance into your blessing. It might look confusing, but it's Caribbean Christian living. Caribbean Christian and dancing in my blood. Caribbean Christian and dancing in my blood, Caribbean Christian and dancing in my blood. Caribbean Christian and dancing in my blood, Don't hold me, let me dance. Don't hold me, let me dance, oh yeah. Let me dance to Jesus, let me dance to Jesus, oh yeah. Dance to Jesus, oh yeah, yeah. I say don't hold me, leave me, let me dance. Don't hold me, just leave me, let me dance. Let me go, let me go, let me dance. Let me go, just let me dance. Let me go, let me go, let me dance. Let me go, let me go, let me dance. Let me go, let me go, let me dance. I want to dance to Jesus, boy. Let me go, let me dance. Let me go, let me come on and dance the problem them away. Caribbean Christian and dancing in my blood. Caribbean Christian and dancing in my blood,
Hey yo, ACD, Christian Soul, yeah. You're locked in to Youth with a Difference with Reverend Yolande, also known as Mentor Rev. Stay tuned and be blessed.
Welcome back, everyone. And it is indeed a pleasure to have you with us today. I am Reverend Yolande, and thank you for tuning into Youths with a Difference. What do? We impact, we empower, we are making a difference in lives, and it's a pleasure to feature on our program young people and young at heart. And we thank God for his goodness from last Saturday to today. So much has happened, within our land, throughout the world. But we thank God for his goodness and his grace towards us. Today, we're going to come back as we play this beautiful song for you by this young artist. And this is his new song, ACD, and we're going to give a short bit of more of you.
I made up my mind, there's no looking back. Only you I look for.
Kelly on the beat, boy.
You're all that I want, you're all that I need.
No one else can make me feel this way.
You're all that I want, you're all that I need.
No one else can make me feel this way.
No one else can make me feel this way. Else can make me feel this way.
Else can make me feel this way.
You're all that I want, you're all that I need.
feel this way.
More of you, more of you. Lord, I need more of you.
That was More of You by ACD. And folks, welcome back. And listen to me, it's a pleasure to have this, I must say, handsome gentleman with us today. None other than Errol, Uncle Errol Fabien.
That's right.
Gael television station. And let me tell you a short bit about him. Just about Gael, he is currently operating a Caribbean content television station that is available throughout the Caribbean on cable TV named Gael the Caribbean. What a man. Gael, you can't hear Gael and not think Errol Fabien. Errol, it's a pleasure having you here with us on Youths with a Difference today. How are you? How things?
Rev, I'm real good, and I'm real happy to be here. It's good to be here. Howdy doody, and plenty love ups to all of your viewers, wherever in the world they find themselves this evening. It's good to be here.
I know you had a very hectic week, a very hectic yesterday and today, and I know you must be so tired. And to take this time to be with us, I really cherish this moment. You know, Errol, tomorrow will be Father's Day. Father's Day 2024. To me, this is the first year Father's Day is being so underplayed. You know, I mean, as a woman, we see so much fuss for Mother's Day. And we normally see much less fuss for Father's Day. But this year, I mean, Father's Day, and I asked people to see if I was thinking the wrong thing. And the majority of people I asked, they tell me Father's Day is so underplayed, especially this year. To me, what makes Father's Day stand out this year is what we call Walk a Son. That you and Gael, and I don't know who you are partnered with, you can tell us as we go along. Walk a Son, this Walk a Son that is supposed to take place. To me, this is what is shining Father's Day 2024 in our country. So, tell me a bit about Walk a Son. What is
Okay. Walk a Son is a 5K walking race. It's a men-only event, a male-only event. It is for men to come and walk with their sons. Now, all men are sons. So if you don't have a biological son, you find a son to come and walk with. Now, it's a race, but it's really a symbolic thing because no man is allowed to walk alone. So if you come to register and you don't have a son, you can't take part in the walk, right? So you must register with a son and you have to cross the finish line together. You can't start together and one come in 10th and the next one coming in 50th or something. So that means you get disqualified because the idea is about staying the course with your son, about walking with your son all the way to the finish line. And that is symbolism of this Walk a Son. It's very, very important for us as men to get into the habit of staying the course with our sons.
What do you expect to accomplish at the end of Walk a Son? Because to me, it's an admirable, awesome event. I think this event, is needful for such a time as this.
Well, it is, and I want to agree with you there. We started this back in 2012 or 2013,
Okay.
And we had it about 4 or 5 consecutive years.
Right.
And every time at the finish line, it would be such a joyous time. When men cross the finish line, 8 out of 10 of them will just hug each other, and just be, in the moment of having stayed the course together and crossing the finish line. We have lots of prizes, but it's never about the prizes, because our prizes, we have a prize for the first daddy and son to cross the finish line, but we have a prize for the most generations to walk together. We have a prize for the sweatiest. We have a prize for big belly. We have a prize for most gray hair. We have a prize for the biggest family at the finish line.
Right.
Because we encourage the women and the men who don't walk to be there. So there's a prize for that. There's a prize for the noisiest bunch. There are all kinds of fun prizes, because it's not about the race. It's about the camaraderie. It's about being together. It's about the family supporting the male folk as they journey towards the finish line on something together. These are the things that the Walker Sun is about. And we did it again last in 2019. We teamed up with the Fire Services Division of Trinidad and Tobago to do it.
Right.
And this year we're teaming up with the Fathers Association of Trinidad and Tobago, formerly the Single Fathers Association, but now they're the Fathers Association of Trinidad and Tobago.
So it's not just single fathers with them now.
Oh, no, it's the Fathers Association. And even women join the Fathers Association now, looking for help to deal. Yeah, a lot of women turn to us to get assistance with issues they're having with the fathers of their children or their own father.
You talk about at the end, you see people hugging and embracing.
Yes.
I am wondering if this event can cause father and son who probably were at a distance to bring them back together. If it caused father and son probably who had some, in the relationship probably was strained in some way. If this event can cause a knitting back together, and I'm wondering,
it is intended to. It's intended to bring it together. And in particular, the women who have sons and their fathers are not present, we've always urged them to get in contact with them and tell them, come and walk with your son.
Yes.
Not because a man and a woman is not having a good relationship, should a man not have a good relationship with the children of that relationship.
Correct.
And sometimes the courts try to pull them apart. But we always remind men and mothers that no matter what you're going through, let's keep the relationship with their mothers and keep the relationship with their fathers on the front burner.
Now, I said before when I started that I think that Father's Day is underplayed. What do you think?
I want to agree with you, Reverend. I want to agree with you quite a lot. And in general, fathers across the board, we find so. And we don't find so to the point where we're going to do less for Mother's Day. We don't find so to the point where we bitter about it. We recognize it. We want it to change, of course. And so this event is a Father's Day event. And we look forward to it. Like last night, I was at a Father's Day event also.
Right.
A comedy show, after that comedy show, we had lots of fun, and a lot of men came out and a lot of women brought their significant other because it's a comedy team, Alan the Entertainer, the Million Laughs production. They generally are majority women in their audience.
Yes.
Last night, that was not the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that sons in our society, the majority of sons, are being they have grown up, or they are growing up with single mothers, or is it a 50-50? You will say that most homes are taken care of by single mothers, or most children are being brought up by single mothers. And if so, what advice do you have for mothers who are bringing up especially boy children? I know it's a challenge. I also know that fatherhood is a challenging thing. Being a father is very challenging in a time like this, where we see so much carelessness is taking place, where we see things that we have never seen before in our society, where it seems as though crime is out of hand. It seems as though young men, it seems as if there is no reason to live. What do you think?
Well, I want to disagree that the majority of sons are coming up in single mother homes.
Okay.
I think it's a minority, and
Right.
I think it's a minority we have to be very concerned about. Right?
Yes.
I think most of the homes have two parents. It may not be the biological father or the biological mother,
Right.
but I think most of the homes in Trinidad and Tobago have two parents in them. I want to agree, though, that the role of the father is very, very important and irreplaceable
Yes.
in the pursuit of bringing children up. And to the single mothers out there, I want to urge them to push those men to come and have a relationship with their sons and create situations that is going to augur towards this, to insist to have picnic, to have beach lime, to have birthday, to have whatever it is, to bring them together, because it's very, very important. Now, I was a single father for more than 10 years, a single father of 5. I had 4 girls and a son.
Right.
Today, I have 7. But during the time when I was a single father, most of it was 4 girls and a son. And then the latter part of it, I had 4 girls and 3 sons.
Right.
And my children used to call me dummy, because I had daddy and mommy in one, dummy. But but it was a joy, and I imagine that being a single parent can be a joy no matter what gender we are, because everything is challenging, whether we in a marriage with a significant other or not. Bringing up children is challenging.
Yes,
we have to rise up every morning. We have to, when children come to the breakfast table, they expect breakfast.
Yes.
First, they're school. They don't want to know where it comes from.
That's
they
right.
want the bag, the shoes, the books, the whatever it is they need. Children want, I always like to say, when they flick the light switch, there's light. When they grab the remote, there's cable. When they go online, there's internet. And they must not have a sense that it is threatened.
That's right.
As parents, we have to provide these things. And that provision comes from hard work. Hard work. We have to work because we have to take care of ourselves also. But in my case, and I think in most parents' cases, we place the children's needs ahead of our own. And that's all well and good. But too much of that is not good either.
Right.
Because children learn what they live. And if they don't see us, if they don't grow up seeing us taking care of ourselves, prioritizing taking care of ourselves, they would learn that. And we don't want that for our children. So we have to bite the bullet sometimes and tell them, no, this evening I'm taking a rest this evening. Or I'm going to the movies this evening. No, you're not carrying all it today's daddy day or today's mommy and daddy day or whatever it is. They must see that and recognize that, okay, that is a part of being an adult. Because at the end of the day, Reverend, children learn what they live. We can talk till the cows come home. Those are words. They learn what they live.
That's right. That's why and the necessary important stage of their life come from home.
Correct.
People try to put emphasis on the school. No, the first training ground for the child is home.
But now, mind you, school is a very influential time because it's many hours in the day. So the waking hours of those days when they're in school, most of the waking hours are spent at school.
Yes.
Right? During the holidays, they're back to everything at home, So parents, is important for us to have a sense of what's going on in that school. And see how well it marries with what's happening in our home. Because sometimes when you hear some parents say, I can't believe my child will never do that. They really believe that.
That's right.
Because they know what environment they have in the home. But when children start going to school, we have to get even more involved. in the bringing up of our children. We have to turn up at the parents' days, whether we like the teacher or we like the child mother or the child father or not. We have to both turn up, and we have to go from teacher to teacher and hear, because the teachers have insights on what is happening to our children. It's not enough to just watch the place and test in the report book. We have to read the comments and hear what the form teacher is saying about our child. And investigate. And if we find now, we have to call the child and talk with the child and find out, what's this? And why are you doing this? Last term it had it, this term it had it. I'm coming in school tomorrow. And go in school. It's important, because our children, none of our children wrote us and asked to come here.
Correct. Correct. How important it is for a father to hug a son.
Wow. It is the crowning glory of fatherhood when we have a son, when we watch a young man grow into a man. It is such a beautiful thing. And I will tell you though, there's something that happens to young men, right? Especially young men who are alphas. I like to think that I'm an alpha, you know? And it's very important, because there's something that our Creator placed in us, in all alphas, in all species in the animal kingdom and in man, to challenge the other alphas. And when, as fathers, we see that, we have to in all cases really, but pull our children closer. Don't let that challenge cause us to push them away. We have to bring them in closer. I challenged my father, and I was reckless in my challenge, and I stormed out the house and leave the house and never went back, you know.
Wow.
But I will say, as I say openly, my father is my hero, you know. Wonderful. He stood his ground. I felt years later, it occurred to me, he didn't even come to look for me, you know, to find out what's going on. Yes. But I have a lot of siblings, and it is through them that he made his inquiries and so on to see how I'm doing, you know. And all generations are stuck in their generation. Yes. So when I was an entertainer, which is what was placed in my heart, I think, from my Creator, my father was very concerned. I was 32 years old with a wife and children, paying our rent and so on off of entertainment. And my father wanted to have a talk with me and asked me when I'm going to stop this thing and go back and get my subjects and get a government job. You know, because for him, that is what would secure me. That would take care of me, you know. But I to this day, you know, I never really got to speak to my father to tell him I love him, because he went into a coma. Right. And it was when he was there in the hospital that I did utter the words I needed to it for me, you know, to talk to my daddy and let him know how much I love him and how much I appreciate him and how much he has done for me. Right. But my father did a lot for me. Yes. You know, I never wanted for anything. We didn't have a lot. It was 9 of us. We didn't have a lot, but our home was filled with love. Wow. And I will tell you, Reverend, the first time I ate a whole boiled egg, I was about 20 years old.
Behave yourself.
I'm telling you, because it was 9 of us and we used to share. Yes. My father had a school teacher's salary, and my mother was a homemaker. Right. And we shared everything. We could have 50 oranges and you peel an orange. You're giving one of your siblings piece. Yes. You wouldn't need to have the whole thing at all. We shared everything. Love in action. You know? Yeah. And that is the kind of home I grew up in. I never saw my father with a cigarette between his fingers or in his mouth. Wow. I never saw my father drunk. You know? Yes. I grew up in a beautiful home. And my siblings and myself, all 9 of us, we tight, real tight. We spread all over the face of the earth, but it is something that our parents placed in us because we prayed together. On Sundays, we had our meals together. Yes. Christmas Eve, we had our meals together. Coming together was a big part of how we lived in our household, although we had little means. Yes.
Wow. Excellent. 9 children. In no era is ever easy, to see about take care of 9 children.
Could
And
never
boys,
be.
when they reach a certain age, teenage years, they eat a lot.
Yes.
They drink a lot.
Especially the boys.
Yes, I could understand. I know it. I come from girls and boys too, so I understand what you are saying. And it was so nice. It is so nice when a parent could hold 9 children together and love is felt in that home. When looking at our society now, and we see so much young men seems to be lost, and I, for one, I'm not giving up on them. I see them, the lost ones, I see them as potential. I'm not giving up on them. We're going to keep praying. We're going to keep doing whatever we can to make our society a better place, to make our society a safer place, to make our society a place whereby the young men over there who seems to be lost and who seems, people will look at them as pests, that they'll be able to come to us and say, I need help. Can you help me?
Reverend, I don't see them as lost. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because you see, I myself had a very troubled journey in my life.
Right.
And I understand about seeing the human being that our God created. Because sometimes we see the behavior and we lose sight of the human being and we stop treating them like a human being.
Right.
And that pushes them even further away. The most ideal ground, or the most fertile ground for that kind of thing you're talking about to strive in is when a young person thinks they are not loved. Because then they give themselves a license to do whatever. Because nobody care about me, nobody don't love me. It's a place that they get to, and it's a fertile ground for them to escalate in the bad behavior.
Right.
But if we try, and it's not an easy task to see God's creation and not the behavior, then we will treat them differently. And they are calling out for love.
Yes,
they're calling out and crying, I want some attention here. I need some warmth. I need some love. There's an African proverb that talks about a child burning down the village to feel the warmth of the village. Because if they're not getting the warmth, they're going to do what they need to do to bring people to them. So we have to dig deeper within ourselves, because it is not an easy task. But we have to dig deeper to see them as human beings and to still have a kind word and some courtesy for them in spite of their behavior. We have to dismiss that and see them and say something kind, something courteous.
I totally agree with you. They are crying out.
Yeah, because God don't mess. God don't make junk. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And our task is to see that creation and see God in them and appeal to that in them.
Yes.
As painful as it is sometimes.
I know your father was a provider, but what qualities of your father stood out that help you to be a good father or a better father today?
Okay. Well, my father was not a very present father because he was busy being a father to our community. Okay. My father was a school teacher and then moved on to be a principal, but he would leave home early to go and give lessons in school for the children who write in exams. Okay. And there was no cost for that.
Free.
And the children who needed extra lessons, he'll be in school, after school, giving them lessons. My father would go to the youth camp. In those days, at youth camp, and give lessons. He was consumed with educating people and getting them into be a better place. I saw hundreds of people come to my father, come to our home to see my father for recommendations for jobs.
I can imagine.
Yeah, hundreds. You know, no, God don't make no junk. Arlene, you're right. And and those are the qualities I have, because he cared for us. And what he would do, he'd wake up early and go and exercise. And you know, I do that with all of my children. I wake them up early and take them for walks and that kind of thing. I get that from my daddy.
Yes.
I get that from my daddy.
Yes.
And I would help them with the schoolwork as best as I can and be interested in the schoolwork. I get that from my daddy.
Oh.
When my daddy he used to like to go to the races sometimes, like on Glorious Saturday or some of those big race days. And when my daddy win, Boxing Day, yeah, in the savannah,
yes,
you know, and when my daddy win, all of us win, because there's so much things he would get and bring for us, because
wow.
it was about us. I felt throughout all of my childhood that my parents thought highly of me.
Yes.
You know, and that is, it would go between them, because my mother is the one who really believed in me. I got that from her. I felt empowered because I knew she believed in me. But my father always had a thing with me where I could do better and I could do more. You know, he wouldn't put down what I have done, but he would always urge me to do better and to do more.
Will you say that was the teacher in him?
It was the educator in him, you know, and he would have conversations with us about nation building.
Yes, yes.
But the thing I took most from my father, Reverend, you wouldn't believe. My father thought he was a comedian. He wasn't.
Wow.
In fact, my first job that I did as a comedian at the top tent, and I'm talking back in the 80s here, in the 80s, as a talk tent as a comedian, all of my material was jokes from my father that I used.
You serious?
I'm very serious. All of it was, because my father come home, hear this one, he called us together, hear this one, and couldn't tell a joke to save his life, you know? But I took that.
yes. You took that and you mastered it.
Yeah. Listen to me. Thousands of people were educated by Andrew Esmond Fabien at Guapo Government School and at Rancho Quemado Government School. Thousands of children, adults in our society today, general managers and educators and CEOs and business owners and people with their vocational businesses and so on, were educated by Andrew Esmond Fabien.
I realize you say Andrew, Edward, Fabien, Edmond, and most people say Errol Fabien. What is it?
Fabien. It's Fabien. It's a French name, Fabien. Fabien, if you want to say it without the accent, but the French will say Fabien.
Right.
It's Fabien.
What do you like best about being a dad? You, Errol.
Me?
Yes.
Let me tell you, these days, I don't know. I'm a little lost these days because my children are all big. Yeah. So they do so much for themselves now. I feel a little misplaced. But I will tell you that I love to go. I love when they call and say, Daddy, I need this picture put up, or this pipe not working, or whatever it is, so I could jump into action and solve things for them. I love when, now that in all the different spheres and they're doing things that I can assist with, when they call and say, Daddy, I have this project to do, boy. And we do it together. And it's not always areas that I'm familiar with, but I learn through assisting them, you know? When they feel I could assist, they will call me. I love that about being a father. Love that. And I love being out with my children now. You know, when they were smaller, we would be home and I would have to carry my string band with me. If I'm going to host a family day or anything, me and all my children used to reach, you know, because it was me alone for a number of years. But I love going out with them now, but you know, they don't go out with me again. When they have the birthday celebrations and thing now, because they go into well, they're adults now, and some of them they consume alcohol, and they know I don't. So
Right.
I don't get invited to those. But we still have our own little tradition where we have our little cake and ice cream for all 7 birthdays, or all 8, I should say, because the lady I'm married to now had a son when she brought her son with her into the marriage.
Right.
So I have 4 boys and 4 girls now.
Very nice. Equal.
Yeah.
You were a single father for a number of years. How
Yes.
challenging it was, especially with girls and a boy. How challenging was it being a single father, Errol? Tell us.
It was very, very, I cannot tell you right now how I did it, because I was an entertainer.
Yes.
So I wasn't going to work every day. I didn't have a monthly salary. During the part of that time, I had a monthly salary from courts.
Right.
But I was an entertainer, and I would let me tell you my routine when I was a single dad here. I would wake up at 5 o'clock, wake up the children, and we would go and walk. Wherever we were living, we go and take a walk. Start our day like that. So we would chat and ting, and when we come home, they hit the shower, and I hit the kitchen to prepare breakfast and lunches for school, right? By the time they finish the shower, they come in the underwear only, because I can't take things spilling on the uniform. So they come in the underwear only and sit and have their breakfast.
Right.
While that happening, I finished pack away lunch, and I would put in their lunch, I would do their sandwich, I would put in a napkin and one of them little dinner mint with chocolate in the middle. They like that. I put that in, seal it, and get all packed up, double check everybody, bags were checked out, and take a look at them when they finish dressed in the uniform and thing, then pile everybody in the car. Who had reading work to do, I double check that in the car when we go in. They have to read what they're supposed to read in school, they read that in the car while we go in, and we drop off to the different schools, because everybody wasn't going to the same school.
Yes.
So I go to the different schools and drop off, and then I go home. Sometimes, Rev, I kid you not, sometimes I drop them to school and I don't know what they're eating when they come home. I don't have anything. I have nothing, and I would go there and see what work I will get, and I did all kind of thing, to make to mind those children.
Wow.
And when school finished, I'm there for them, to bring them home and to give them relax a little bit, do their homework and so on. Then I'll have some supper for them later in the evening. And my thing, they always had an early bedtime in my house. 8:30 was bedtime, lights out. Because they're getting up early. Because they're getting up early in the morning to go and walk and so on. Let me tell you, Rev, I used to be a driver, right? I used to be a lights man. I operate lights. I performed at bachelorette parties, bachelor nights, all kinds of things I did to make sure that the money was there to take care of everything at the end of the month. Whatever I had to do that was within the law, I did it. I did it to make sure I could mind my children.
Wow. How satisfied are you?
Listen.
All those sacrifices.
Oh, I am so happy with all of my children. Not all of them are where they want to be.
Yes.
But they all on their journeys, and they understand that push come to squeeze, I could call daddy. Wonderful. You could call daddy. No matter what, you could call daddy.
Yes.
And we'll work it out together.
Wow. What will you say to single men out there? And some of them are young men, single young men. They may have a child or two or a child. And it's difficult for them. To them, it's difficult to cope. What will you say to them?
It is difficult. I want to say to them,
yes,
find your God. Find your God. Yes. Because it is from there that your help and your redemption will come. Wow. Find your God. Stay true and be the best that you could be from where you are. Wow. Every day. Be the best daddy you can be from where you are every day. Don't let talk jump you. Don't let talk get in the way of you being with your children at all. Even if Even if some days is to be outside the school when they get pick up to say, hey, how you going? And send a kiss or get a chance to take a hug. Even that, let me tell you, you don't know how far that will go with your child knowing that you are there. Our children must know that we are there.
Wow.
So it's not easy, young men. It's not easy. And in these times, I can't imagine how much more difficult it may be. But there is help, and we have to find it, because we have to be man enough to ask for help. You know, we can't be such a man that we could do everything for ourselves, because we can't. You know, that woman who is estranged, we have to be able to have a friend that say, you have to get comfortable having the uncomfortable conversations. Yeah. And that is the mark of a man. To have uncomfortable conversations. You're not looking for war, but you have to say to that estranged woman that I need some help this weekend with whatever with the child, or I'm not able to deliver on this until next week, or whatever it is. We have to have those conversations, or to be able to go to our siblings and say, listen, I need some help. I need some help, you know, because it's a family and it's a community. And it's to be, are we able to say to God, we want we partner to feel that we're good, and we buying this wrongs and thing, and we don't have money to buy bread tomorrow. We know we have to say to our partners, I ain't there today, you know, because what I have is only for bread for my children tomorrow, or I only have enough to whatever it is. We have to be man enough to say that. We can't play hero.
That's right. That's right.
You know?
There are so many single fathers that are doing so well, and they go unnoticed. And a lot of emphasis is being placed on single mothers who are also doing well. Do you think that society bashes men too much?
1 minute, please, Reverend. Forgive me. What's sure? All right. Yeah. Forgive me. Ask me that question again.
Do you think society, man is being bashed by society, men, too much?
From time immemorial, because we are expected to be all things. Being a man is the easiest, hardest, brightest, darkest, unforgiving, beautiful, ugliest thing that we have to do. We have to be on both sides of the spectrum to be a man. And it's a difficult call. And if we always there for our family, it have people who have a problem with that. You always home, didn't it? If we always outline it have people have a problem with that. You know, we go to be by our mothers and help our mothers. We's a mommy's boy. We're not there. It's your own mother. You don't want to look for him, you know. And it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. But we have to understand that just for today, we will do all that we can do. The rest will have to be done tomorrow. Just for today, do what we can do today. Because being a man is not easy. Being a man come up and push your wife, whether deliberately or not, and you don't do nothing, your wife wants to know, but how you ain't do nothing? How you could let somebody just push me? You know? Or they push you and you cuff them down and like, what's that? Why you so violent? You know, it's a difficult, difficult road to walk being a man. Your children need something in the house need to solve. And you don't solve it immediately. For whatever reason. You know, you don't care as I don't care, father. You know? Right. But it's not everything we could get done immediately, but we're expected to. Fathers are expected to solve everything immediately in the exact and correct way. We have no room as daddies for mishaps or for getting it wrong. We just got to get it right every time, and that's impossible. So as fathers, what we have to be able to become is people who are happy. We have to be happy to be okay. When I say happy, we won't get everything we want, but we have to be happy with what we get. You know, if we're not happy with what we get very frustrated. Reverend, in the world, the statistics, every minute, Every 2 minutes, a man commits suicide in the world today.
You know, that is so, to me, it is so surprising because you think the woman as a weaker vessel will be the ones committing the suicide. So when I heard that, you know what? Let us go on a break.
Yeah, I'm distracted. I'm talking to my son. All right.
We'll be right back, folks.
Hey, hey yo, ECD, Christian Soldier. You're locked in to Youth to the Difference with Reverend Yolande Dates, also known as Mentor Rev. Stay tuned and be blessed.
Wow. Thank you, son. Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. What a dad. What a dad. What a dad. Wow. What do you see in your son that reminds you of you?
Here I have 4 sons now, but the 3 who I've seen grow up, I see a lot of me in all of them, right? I have one who's a little handyman already, and that's me. Everything around the house needs to fix, I fix it. Yes. You know, and he used to be on my lap a lot, so he's a little handyman. I have a next one there, he's a little tech man, and he on technology, and you know, and I always had a great sense of that. He surpassed me already, but also he's into systems and, you know, having things work properly. Right. And I think he got some of that from me. Right. I have another son, you know, and I have to say it, you know, he has a substance abuse problem, and that is from me. You know, that is from me. Okay. And I saw him today. He had a little barbecue today, so I went to support. You know, I see some of me in all of my sons, but even that son, he is such an ambitious and he's a chef, and a greater meal you'll not have from anyone. He is an amazing chef, you know. Wow. And but they're all on their journeys, and I don't try to be in the driver's seat of their journeys. They know that I am here. And you are still and I make it clear. I make it clear that I am here. Yeah. Well done. Well done. As best as I can. Yes. No, because you don't have some days you'll find out from them that you're not doing enough still. Right. You know? Right. Yeah. What would you say to delinquent fathers? We and let's be real. There's a lot of delinquent fathers out there. They're working. Some of them working, and they're not giving anything to the children. Yeah. They're in court and they're not paying child support. Yeah. Wait, what would you say? What are these men? I frown on that. I frown on that because, like I said, none of our children wrote a letter asking us to bring them here. That's right. We brought them here. That's right. We brought them here. And men, we have to be men. As uncomfortable as it is, we have to be men. And God made us providers. Yes. We didn't make ourselves providers. God made us providers. And we must provide. We must provide. Yes. Yeah. We have to provide. And we have to lead and we have to protect. Yes. We must do that. Those are things that are etched into our being by our God. The one who created us. We naturally do it. It's a natural thing for all men. And men who don't do that are doing so against their own natural way, their own natural instinct. And you need to find your way, men. And the men who are out there who are doing it and know a brother who's not doing it, it's time to pull him up. It's time to call him. It's time to bring the other brothers and bring him to a meeting with the other brethren and say to him, partner, you're not pulling your weight. You need to be taking care of your child. You need to, what help you need. What help you need. And see how we're helping you. You cannot stay and drink with us mountain. You cannot, whatever it is at the mountain, or how much you're making, give us the money, we'll carry it for your wife. You know, as a man, We
Very
might
nice.
quicker if I'm a man who in a delinquent situation and your brethren say, "Come, I want the money. Give me the money. How much you have to pay? Give me the money." And every
Yes.
pay we tell them, "Give me the money." That money will get there. You know, we have to be there for each other, men. It's a
That's
brotherhood, and we
That's
need to
right.
keep the brotherhood alive.
Do you think there was a saying years ago that it takes a village to raise a child? Do you think villages are raising children?
Absolutely.
True.
Not in the way we want.
Right.
Because let me tell you, the gangs are taking some of our children.
Yes.
You understand? And that's
Yes.
a village. That's a village. You understand?
Yes.
The gangs are taking
Yes.
some of our children. And I have to say that, okay, if I look at my own little neighborhood, you know, I still today, 2024, and I know the children in my neighborhood,
Yes.
you know, and I know my children's friends. And if I see one stepping out of line, I say something.
That's right.
And if I see one doing good, I say something also.
That's right.
We have to commend. We have to commend them, you know, because, you know, they're in a world we don't know. They are in a world we don't know. So we have to peer in. We have to look in. We have to meet them where they are. We have to ask a question. What is it? What's this TikTok thing? How it does work? You know, what it is? How does this work? How it does do that? So you have to, but that's real good, you know.
Yes.
But you could use it for this, but you could use it for that, you know. And we have to constantly be guiding as much as we can. It's exhausting sometimes, Rev, but
that's right.
We have a role and we cannot abdicate our role. You know,
Right.
if we pick up the phone and call the police, we don't want to hear, we don't have a vehicle or we can't come now. That's their role. We want them to act in their role.
Yes.
And as parents, we have a role. And people expect us to be in our role also. So we have to live up to our role.
I heard Judge Mattis, this African judge, Mattis, I heard him with a testimony. At one time, he said at 13 years, his mother was a single parent. At 13 years, he was given so much trouble. The mother was a hard worker doing more than one job just to put food on the table. And it was so terrible with him that his mother called the police and asked for help. He said that is what turned him around. What is your thought on that? He said that turned on his whole life.
Let me tell you, that is getting comfortable doing uncomfortable things in the interest of your children. Right. She was able to realize this is too much for me, and she asked for help.
Yes.
And too often we feel we have to do it or solve it ourselves.
That's
but
right.
It is okay. The adult thing to do is to ask for help. Ask for help. So I salute that mother. I salute her.
Do you think men normally want to ask for help? Men are different from men, you know.
It's difficult for men to ask for help because, you see, we damned if we do and we damned if we don't.
Yes.
As a man, you know. So you can't handle that, boy. And we brought up in a way, are conditioned in a way. So you can't do that. A big boy like you can't do that.
Yes.
You know, we start feeling, and those words are powerful words, you know.
Yes.
You can't be like your big brother. You can't. So we get conditioned into a corner where we must. But I want to take it a little further to say we must be big enough to ask for help.
That's right. You know, it has been proven in our society year after year after year. Statistics prove that girls are excelling more than the boys year after year after year.
Mm-hmm. Academically, they certainly are.
Yes. Why do you think this is happening?
Well, I think part of it is there's an expectation that they will, but girls are different to boys. I brought up both, so I could tell you. When they come home from school, and I say, go and do all your homework, the girls, 9 out of 10 times, will go and do their homework.
Yes. Yes.
Not the boys. The boys, you have to stick behind them, you know. And if if we become a society, which I see, that children who oppose you, you leave them to their own devices,
Right.
then you'll end up with a society where the girls are outperforming the boys. Because boys are the ones who need more attention. Boys need more attention. They need more support. They need a little more encouraging. And it's not licks they need, you know.
Yes.
They need a gentle hand.
Yes.
A firm but gentle hand to
Wow.
come along and say, or sit with them. Sit with them because you bring them here, you know.
Yes.
Sit with the boys, let them do the homework. Sit with them, you know. And the thing is too, you know what is really an issue in the world today, Rev? Violence is trending.
It is yeah.
It is trending.
You see
And
it.
more I am seeing girls and women fighting in schools and in public.
Yes.
More. I just saw a video today. It's a brawl in Piaco International Airport with about 4 women. You know?
Yes.
Girls and women are becoming more and more and in violence.
Yes.
In violence, involved in violence. And too often men leave them to fight.
Yes. Serious.
We have to break it up.
Yes.
We have to intervene. Men, that is our role. We have to get in there. We are the protectors and the peacemakers, you know, men.